Alright, there we go. Hmm. Oh, okay. Smith Moore Gambit, I believe. Let's see if he plays it the right way. He does. What I would call the right way. Now, I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to do here. I mean, it feels like I'm, well, I feel like I've got to take, right? I mean, well, okay, let me back up. I could just protect this pawn. That lets him trade off a wing pawn for a center pawn. Yeah, and I'd end up double isolated. Okay, I'm just taking. I don't know if that's right or not. We'll see. Okay, now I'm thinking knight c6. Could also go ahead and just play like e5. That gives up this square a little too easily for my liking. Okay, I'm going to play knight c6. That feels like a pretty flexible way to play. All right. e6 makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, other moves. Yeah, I think e6 makes the most sense. Just go ahead and open up that bishop and block this diagonal. That's kind of an, I don't know, that strikes me as an odd square for the bishop. Okay, so probably just knight f6 here. Yeah. Alright, now developing my dark squared bishop makes the most sense, I feel. So e7 or c5, I guess b4 merits consideration, but I don't like b4. I think I like just e7 best. c4 maybe, or c5 maybe knight a4 is a problem at some point. Okay, we'll just go. Maybe another thing to keep in, or that I should consider is, can I just play d5 now? Like while his bishop is blocking the queen? I end up with an isolated pawn in that line, which I don't love. I guess, actually, if maybe bishop b4 is okay, because I'm threatening to win a pawn. Yeah, and it's tough for him to defend this pawn now. Okay, let's see if that will work. So the reason I initially didn't like b4 was that if a3, I thought I would just be backing up, then he would kind of get some tempo moves in. But if my intention is just to take, which now it is, then that makes some sense. So what does he have to do about this pawn now? Queen c2. I feel like I've still gained something if I'm forcing him to defend with his queen. I probably need to keep, like normally at this stage in the game I wouldn't expect like aggressive moves, but I probably need to keep those more in mind just because he does have this lead in development with all of his minor pieces out. I guess I also should be looking at this, shouldn't I? Maybe I'm okay after just knight g4. Bit of a think for him here. It's nice so I can actually make my opponents think early in the game. Normally I'm the one going into the bank early. So my plan going forward, I guess next I'm just castling. I mean, unless I'm winning this pawn. And then it seems like fianchettoing this bishop is in the cards. So do I want to just play like b6, or do I want to play a6 to prep b5 and then fianchetto? Normally I like the preparatory move better when there's this minor piece that I'm hitting, because I feel like I'm not really wasting a tempo in that case, and I'm just gaining some space. But I guess sometimes your opponent can kind of sidetrack your plans there. So is he just going to let me win this pawn? So bishop takes, I assume bishop takes. Yeah, knight takes. I don't have to worry about any like rook over business, I don't think. And I'm just up 2 pawns. Yeah, I guess, yeah, let me quickly check and just make sure there's not some Zwischenzug or something. Yeah, so like if he tried to throw this in, I could just take with my bishop. Or or the knight. Bishop would be better, though, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it would. Okay, I'm pretty convinced about this. Ah, okay. I missed that this hangs at the very end. Maybe this is still pretty good. I mean, it hangs, but then I get the open G file right in front of his king, and like maybe my queen is just coming out. Well, not immediately, obviously. Actually, hmm. Maybe I can get this pawn back at the very, very end. I'm looking at takes, takes, rook here. The only way he can go that he's not dropping the bishop to a knight, like losing the bishop pair, would be here. And then I was thinking maybe queen here. I guess he can drop the bishop all the way back to defend this pawn. Yeah, it's a little concerning my king not being able to really castle. But at the same time, I get this open G file to his king. And I mean, I'm trading a G pawn for a center pawn, and he's got no center pawns left. I think it's worth doing. Okay, I'm gonna go for it, and we'll see how things turn out. I guess I was somewhat obliged to go for it since I gave up the bishop pair, thinking I was winning a pawn and missing that this was there at the end. I should have noticed that. I'm trying to do better about looking one move deeper. I can almost pre-move this, right? Unless he just misses it. Yeah. This is an interesting position. It's very, very double-edged. This should be a nice move to get in. Maybe well, I mean, that looks nice, but maybe I'm just weakening my dark squares too much. So, I mean, I assume he's going here. So, I can go ahead and be thinking, I think I'd still like this move and just like try to make him bring his bishop all the way back to its starting square to defend that pawn. Yeah, because like if this also he gets this, which is maybe a little annoying. I don't know. It's probably not so bad. Another nice thing to notice is that I'm not. Obviously, he's defending his knight with his queen right now, but this pawn is not defending. So with my queen here, I am I'm putting some tension on this knight. Why did I not see that square? Oh, well, okay. Now I can just take the pawn. And yeah, it doesn't look like I'm getting trapped anyhow. So let's take the pawn, I think. Sometimes taking the pawn can be a little greedy, but okay, let me think about it a little bit. So when I take the pawn, I'll have two loose pieces. I'll have this knight and the queen here. There's not really a direct way to threaten both that I see. So I think I'm fine to go for it. And the nice thing is, even if he does threaten one, when I bring the queen back here, I'm threatening checkmate. So that'll always afford me a tempo. I think I can do this. Yeah, I decided to fire up the face cam. You people have to deal with my ugly mug now. Okay, so now that I've got a nice position, I need to just probably work towards consolidation. This bishop is obviously horrible, so what I'd really love to do would be eliminate this piece. I think let's just go ahead and pull the queen back. Yeah, I mean, I guess like right now he's threatening to take here. So if I bring the queen back, I'm getting a tempo to rescue my knight. And actually, this might be a pretty decent square for the knight once I do pull it back. Okay, the queen, I believe, really needs to come back. I don't know if I want to play this move yet. It seems like maybe I should keep that sort of in the holster. So he needs to play either this or this. Okay. I definitely at some point want to get this going. I'd also, I mean, obviously, trying to get it this night would be great. Actually, wait, maybe if I go here, how does he protect that knight? Because this just fails, he's in a pin. Oh, well, he can trade queens. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so in light of that, maybe this is a move worth considering. His queen would need to stay on this diagonal. Maybe that square is not so bad, though. That h5 square. Yeah, this knight also is just pretty loose. Like, we might just end up trading off knights, which I guess I should be fine with. But I think queen h5 is pretty solid for him. So now I'm thinking maybe just go ahead and get this fianchetto going. That's sort of the last thing to do in the position. Okay, I'm just going to go for that. Hopefully I'm not missing something. Yeah, so that keeps my queen from going in there. Is this worth it? It doesn't seem like he has any trouble getting the queen somewhere that's okay. His knight is running low on squares. So I could go here, and like if he were to try to take, I would actually trap his knight. The knight may just get in the way here, though, and it's actually really low on squares too. Okay, so another idea would just be back here. That would be a tempo move. Yeah, and then maybe I'm actually threatening this too. Oh wait, no, he just takes that. Yeah, so that's no good. So what are we looking at here then? This looks pretty useless. Here, and yeah. Maybe the knight is getting kicked around a little much, but what about just here? He could pull some kind of desperado and open my king up and win a pawn back. Okay. Time to make a decision. Man, I really wish I could go here. Okay, I'm thinking here, and then this knight looks ugly, but maybe it's not so bad. Okay, let's go here. I definitely don't love that, but maybe the knight's okay to just be sidelined for a while, because I mean I need to get these moves. Well, actually, I probably want to bring the rook all the way over just to watch this kind of weak spot. Well, also, okay, one nice thing the knight does is watch this idea, getting the queen all the way in there. Uh-huh. Threatening to not quite, but almost trap my queen, huh? Can I go here? As odd as that looks, and he takes, I take with my queen, and I'm forking these two pieces. And of course, if the knight moves, it's checkmate. I think I can. I'm going to try it. It's just too cool of a move to not try. Of course, he can't move this. Oh, he can, because he's defending. But I still pick up this bishop, right? Yeah. Gotta pick up the bishop. A rook over. Don't think it worries me too much. I think he probably should bring this rook over. Okay, so now I can go here to defend the knight if I wish. I could even just go here. Do I even need to worry about defending the knight? Why don't I just go back here? Yeah. Okay. Alright, now I really just want to trade things off. This is kind of a funny threat. His queen can't move. His queen can't leave the 7th rank, for him the 2nd rank. Let me refine my statement again. His queen can't leave the defense of this pawn. I really, really, really want to get this bishop off, because I've got some dark square weaknesses. Oh, funnily enough, I'm threatening to take this. I didn't even appreciate that. And he's really only got 1 square for it. Well, he could move his king. But yeah, if he doesn't recognize that danger, it's going to be game over. He could also play a bishop here to stop the pin. And if that comes, I have to be very careful. I might even just I would probably consider giving up the rook. I should probably go ahead and evaluate that, because that's probably the best try. What I would worry about is this kind of idea. And then he can sack his rook. Okay, so now I can just take the knight. And he's not threatening anything with his queen, because I would have checkmate. So I think take. That would also defend this knight. And then I could play this up, or even just bring the queen like here and try to get a trade. Okay. So I just have to tread carefully and not get checkmated. Interesting. So queen here is what I was thinking would be the safest option. Maybe that gets into a little bit of trouble, actually. I mean, maybe even the safest option is just takes here, give my rook for a pawn, and I'm still up an exchange in 4 pawns. Yeah, that feels like it concedes a lot. Okay, we need a move, though. Okay, I'm going to just do this. Is that just really weakening? Am I just overthinking this? Maybe. Maybe I am. Because what if I just do this, and then if he takes, I've got bishop here. Man, I don't know. I just don't know. No, I wouldn't because my pawn's blocking that. Okay, I'm running out of time. Let's just go here. The material will eventually tell. Queen or a bishop here. Oh wow, I'm totally missing this attack on my queen. Oh goodness. Um, Okay, let's... Let's try to pester him a bit. Can he just take here? I mean, I feel like eventually he's just running out of material. If he takes here, maybe I can just take here. Yeah, that should be fine. No, he would take with his... no, he... Well, no, yeah. Yeah, he could just take with the king, I think. If he takes here, I just take this. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. So if allowed, I think next is bringing this bishop here. I also want to move my king up to connect my rooks. I can just take it, right? Maybe not. Takes, takes, takes. Here, I'm threatening his queen. Yeah, maybe I can't take him. Maybe not. Oh man, I'm low on time. Okay, I'm doing this. That was a bad move. That was a panic move. But maybe it works. Okay, now I can take here. No, I can't. I can't. Oh, I just dropped my queen. Wow, what a disaster of a game. I mean, what an absolute disaster. Foss. Technically up 1 point of material, but I'm about to get slaughtered. What an absolute disaster. Yeah, that rook move was horrible. That rook sack. Wow, what a horrible, horrible move. You can only laugh, I guess. He probably just should take this pawn. I don't know if this is safe, but I just feel like if I give up any more material, I've just got no chance. I have this that defends and attacks, which is nice, and I can back it up with this pawn. Maybe I'm giving this up. Let's see if he makes a mistake here. This might be enough, actually. My rook is defended. Okay, I probably need to just bring this bishop back to somewhere it's defended, because otherwise I'm running into all kinds of forks, like here. Here, maybe? Make him think. Yeah, let's gain some time anyway. That was a bad move. My move, not his. I just dropped that thing. No, I didn't. Okay, I can bring this back. Do I have to play this up? Maybe I even have to get here. That loses. That loses. Whew. Beat the clock. I think this still might be a tough win for him. I'm not positive, but I should have taken that. Hmm. Hmm. It's fine. Um. I'm not really sure how I hold this. I'm threatening this. Yes, here. Okay. He actually can still, well, I would just have to take. I have to be careful about this pawn. Like, even if I win his queen, his pawn can be pretty quick. Okay, I'm happy to repeat at this point. I'm even happier to win the pawn. Maybe I have to be careful with the bishop. Probably so. Hmm. Hmm. I guess I have to throw in this check now. I think bishop here is the only move. Yeah, he is kind of close to working into Zugzwang, but that would appear to be the only move. So I go there, he can come here, and then I have to abandon the bishop. Actually, I do have this pawn move, don't I? He can kind of play a waiting move. Okay, well, I know moving the bishop loses, so I might as well make this move. Feeling more and more like I'm just fighting a losing battle here. Did he leave? Yeah, surely that wins too. Or is that what? Yeah, that's what you were alluding to, Vash. Although no, I don't have any stalemating tricks. Let's do this. Yeah, everything loses. Yeah, I mean, I'm just lost. I was trying to see if there was some kind of at least stalemating trick, but there's nothing. Alright. Yeah, I hope you weren't around to see how badly I screwed this game up. But don't worry, I'll show you how badly. In my new, even fancier analysis mode. Alright, so this graph is going to show how embarrassingly I blew this game. It was just totally winning. Let's flip this off for now. Let the Lichess servers do my analysis for me. Okay. So, Smith Mora, funnily enough, like, I've seen this somewhat regularly recently, but I almost always see queen takes, which just totally defeats the purpose of the gambit, I believe. And I wasn't 100% sure how to play this, but now I see that I was right to play, to just take the pawn and try to weather the gambit. Oh, wow, yeah, look at that. Look at that right there. That is how you blow a game. King e7 is what blew it. Huh. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I figured this game would be riddled with blunders. Because it got to the point where I had a crushing advantage. I lost it, but I think I was still maybe somewhat in the game. And then had little time in an endgame, and I'm sure made several mistakes. So yeah, this graph is just going to be horribly embarrassing. But I'll just have to... oh, d3? Yeah, I kind of looked at that. I guess the point is that the queen is not good on... Or, well, I guess you could take with the bishop. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a fair point. Seems like it's actually played a decent amount in master games. Oh, in this new layout, I guess you can't see the opening book. But yeah, D3 actually played almost 300 times compared to D takes C 1,000 times. Yeah, okay, so it kind of squanders his knight development. That makes sense. I guess I have to have this on for this layout to actually make sense. If you would, let me know if the stream gets really jittery with the engine on. Maybe I can... I turned down the engine's capability by a lot, and I may just turn it down like all the way. Hopefully that'll keep the stream happy. Okay, anyway. Takes, and then I played knight c6. Okay, that's still the preferred grandmaster move. Okay, thank you, Vash. Yeah, e6 was the correct move here. Okay, and now I played knight f6, engine preferred move. Yeah, it feels like I'm already just way better. Okay, not way better. I saw, yeah. I did want me to play d5 here. I think I talked about d5 while his queen's not guarding it. But I liked this idea to try to win a pawn. Okay. So he can just play e5 or queen e2. I was suggesting queen c2. Yeah, okay. And even here, it doesn't seem to really like taking the pawn so much. I guess it is. I didn't see how double-edged this would become, because I missed that he could pick up this pawn at the end. But I felt like this was worth it because I saw that I would just get this open G file at his king. Computer seems to agree. Yeah, so I'm in this sharp position where a lot of inaccurate moves played by both sides. Yeah, queen f6 was a nice move, the engine says. d5 here. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got in trouble later in the game guarding d5, but that was, I mean, I shouldn't have ever had problems in this line. I just picked up the pawn, and I kind of alluded to the fact that it does seem like so often like picking up a pawn is just not the right move. So I guess the point to notice is that I can always get in, I can throw in d5, and no matter what move he makes with his bishop, I'm still getting this pawn. So I might as well grab the space and help this bishop out. Yeah, and then I decided to bring the queen all the way back. This all seems good. Yeah, I don't know if that was the best way to... Oh, I didn't see bishop f1 as a defense. That was probably the best. Yeah, that's a good defense. Yeah, and it wanted me to play knight c3, which I mentioned. Well, I'm wondering what this big spike is right here where I apparently lost. I definitely didn't see that. Yeah, queen g2 check was the idea, but he wasn't going to let it be that easy. Yeah, so I thought just getting my bishop fianchettoed would be pretty strong. Queen f6 here, hitting this knight. Yeah, I guess I can understand why that would be better than... Because there wasn't a good square for my knight, and I realized that. So maybe I should have been looking more to like trade rather than move my knight to a bad square. And yeah, I also noticed that his knight was trapped, but yeah, I should have thought to trade rather than trying to save the knight. I guess maybe in principle I was thinking that I have this attack, I don't need to be giving away my pieces. Yeah, and so where did I blow it here? Oh yeah, this move that I thought was pretty cute. Oh, but he can just counter back. That's kind of funny. Wow, that's a bit surprising that that's that strong. Is my queen just getting trapped? Is that what's going on here? So like if I do this, yeah, bishop. Oh, right. Yeah, so I saw the bishop h6 hitting my queen. I totally missed the discovered attack, which I fell for later in the game. But yeah, I didn't think knight c3 was like, it looked good because I attacked the queen, but like knight c3. Like, I don't know, queen c2 or something. Like, eventually my knight is moving to a bad square, I felt. Yeah, d5 probably did need to be played at some point. Okay, so this move that I thought was cute was definitely flawed. Yeah, although, I mean, I will say that's a very difficult reply to see. Anything other than knight f5, and I'm basically equal, a little bit worse, the engine says. Yeah, knight f5 is a very difficult move to find. And now I'm just fine. And then the problem with this move was, yeah, I wanted him to sack the exchange. Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's where not having played d5 really got to me. But now I'm just way better. Well, okay, and I alluded that he missed, that he was hanging this. And now, yeah, it's just a matter of getting these pieces traded off. But I wasn't able to do it. I was getting in pretty severe time trouble here trying to find moves. So what are some better moves? Knight d4. Knight d4. Really? What is going on with that move? Knight d4. Knight d4, bishop takes d4. Now this works? Ah, because his rook hangs. King f2, and I get the bishop back. I'm getting this rook. No, I'm not getting the rook. Yeah, well, I'm not a grandmaster. I think I would just about have to be to see that kind of a move. Knight d4. Like, if I had seen that move, I think I would have just resigned from chess afterwards. Okay, also better. It says this idea works now. Yeah. Okay, I was kind of, like, I looked at this move just because it's a check, but yeah, now it seems kind of obvious that take, and I pick up this rook. Yeah, well, hindsight is 20/20. Still works for the same reason. Yeah, I of course looked at knight takes d4, but I thought that I was getting in. Okay, I think the point is that takes check. I have to just step up. I don't think I can let his queen get down here. Is that the idea? Takes, yeah, king e7. I really only looked at rook takes. Then I saw that I was losing both rooks. Maybe I'm even still fine there, though. Yeah, it says rook takes c8, and I still have a 1-point edge. Yeah, okay. Okay, and then, yeah, I got in time trouble and just threw this move out hurriedly. Yeah, and I still need to take this, but I shied away from it until now. Oh. Yeah, I was worried about... so I thought if I took, we'd get this. Yeah, so this was just totally an oversight on my part. I thought, like, his queen was... I thought they were converging on this bishop, which they are, but I can take one of them out, and my material edge is still so good. So yeah, even after all of that, those horrible moves, it wasn't until here that I had completely really well, yeah, and I saw it immediately afterwards that I just dropped my queen. So all right, and then he played somewhat questionably in the resulting end game, and I guess it's worth going back to see like where I had a chance to equalize. Rook g8 check. I don't know why I didn't look at that. Yeah, I saw the danger to my bishop here and didn't focus on anything else. Yeah, so all it wants is me to just throw in this check before pulling the bishop back. And it says small advantage for white. Maybe he can find a win. Alright, well, that's an unfortunate game overall. I don't want to end on that one, so I'm going to play one more, I think. Like I played overall well that game. I spend a lot of time early in the game, and then sometimes it catches up to me later in the game. Alright. Oh, and I get a strong player. That's exciting. Now I'm getting some lag on my end. My laptop's not really equipped to handle this kind of stuff. Okay, so we have a Grunfeld. And I know that taking is the correct move. Then you push e4. Yeah, okay. So how is it that I normally get in trouble here? My gut tells me to just play knight f3 and add another defender to this point that's got some pressure. Then maybe this guy gets a little loose. Knight f3 seems awfully principled. e5 maybe is even also worth considering. Yeah, I don't know about that. That seems a little premature. I feel like I should just develop. Okay, I'm going to play this. I've got my bishop. Well, not doing that, but oh my god. Okay, if I need to defend this pawn, maybe the queen too. So bishop d3 is probably the safest way. The ambitious move, maybe bishop e3 and try to get this queen d2 and trade the bishops idea going. I'm just not sure where I want to commit my light squared bishop just yet. I like c4 to some extent on the diagonal with the king, but like maybe I need to commit the bishop to the defense of this pawn at some point. This bishop, on the other hand, I mean, there might be something to be said for a3. Probably not, though. I think he just moves his rook over, which he wants to do anyway. Okay, I'm going to play bishop e3. I'm going to try to work through these opening decisions a little quicker, since I've gotten in trouble when I don't do that. Yeah. So I think I just have to ignore that. Do I still want to do this idea? Probably so. Hmm. Yeah, I think I am just going to do this. And we can pre-move that recapture. Maybe we did. Rook b1 occurred to me for a moment, but I guess I didn't really look at it beyond that. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not very good at like remembering sometimes the stuff that I learn um, in analysis, because now like that move looks really irritating. Okay, I'm not sure what I want to do. Let's see, c3 pawn is going to be pretty tricky to defend for the foreseeable future. Yeah, and I've got to be careful about the rook on this diagonal too. I'd get in trouble there a lot as well. Is rook b1 now any good? Maybe. Get a little tricky for this bishop. Yeah, and then maybe I'm threatening this. Maybe I am. Okay, I'm going to try rook b1. Oh, what am I doing here? I got so excited about getting to play at 2100. I think this is the highest rated player I may have ever played, and then other than I competed in an online league briefly. Yeah, that's why I'm doing these streams, so people can remind me of like, oh yeah, you've already learned that rook b1 and a Grunfeld is useful. Like maybe I can just hammer it into my mind eventually. Yeah, that was kind of my thinking too. I guess you're figuring if he takes the pawn, I retake, and then he can trade. Yeah, it seems like that's fine for me. All right, I guess he likes that idea though. So I will have a bit of a choice how to recapture. Yeah, both moves are somewhat appealing. Knight takes and I'm guarding this pawn, and I can even play f3 at some point. Bishop takes, I'm getting the bishop to a more useful diagonal maybe, now that its intended purpose of just exchanging itself is no longer there. I think I prefer getting this f3 move in though. Ben Feingold, I'm sure, would be very upset with me if he knew me. Yeah, well, okay. The other thing to consider is, at least for the time being, whichever piece I don't move is just tied to this pawn. And this bishop being fixed on this square seems worse than this knight being fixed to this square. Maybe this pawn does become kind of tricky to defend. Like, even just a simple fianchetto. Okay, I'm going to take with the knight. Okay, king takes d2, huh? Yeah, I guess, I mean, yeah, I can see connecting the rooks a little quicker and not retreating. I never really gave it much consideration. But, yeah, once the queens are off, I don't really mind my king being in the center, especially when it's behind a pawn. I would suspect b6 is coming pretty soon. For me, I guess I should figure out what the most cohesive way to develop is. I think f3 makes a whole lot of sense, especially if he plays b6. Let my knight do something else besides babysit that pawn. The only real tender spot for black is, I guess, b7 and e7. b7 probably won't be a problem for him. e7, I don't really see a way to threaten it too much. So I'm thinking some combination of the moves f3, bishop c4, and rook c1. The bishop maybe can be better placed somewhere else, but I like it on the diagonal with the king. Although, am I just my knight get kind of passive if I put the bishop on c4. Yeah, that's a trying move. I could always just whip the knight over to add another defender, or I could push the pawn. Pushing the pawn is a little bit appealing because at least I take away this square from the knight, probably its most natural square. I'm a little hesitant to open this bishop up fully, but maybe it won't be so difficult to just trade off that bishop at some point. Yeah, and if I do this, I would assume this is coming, then I pretty much have to push, so I'm just getting very passive, like with the rook over, for example. So I think I am going to push. And I'm making life, well, I mean, yeah, this bishop is going to be not so great. Conversely, this bishop is maybe not going to be so great. So I think I probably want to like get this bishop out on my next turn, because what I don't want to have happen is b6, bishop a6, and then he's forcing this exchange. I'd much prefer to hang on to my light squared bishop. I think mine is, both are bad, but I think mine has better potential to be useful than his. Yeah, and to further help beat this into my head, rook b2, rook b1 was necessary for this move to be possible. Get out of this pin. The more I talk about this, the more I'm pretty sure we have covered this before, because I pointed out that, you know, in these fianchetto setups, the rook's always vulnerable here. I'm dangerously close to having a time advantage for like the first time in my life. You'd have to get down to 1506 with the increment for me to maintain an advantage. Although, yeah, since I moved first, he's got to get to 1506, and then I'll have an edge on the clock the first time in my life. So I think next for me is, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's the square with the most potential use for this bishop, I guess. And then this knight can work around. Yeah, actually, the knight here, and then maybe get the bishop there and get this exchange. I'm very surprised at this. Well, maybe I'm not surprised at this thing. I mean, I guess there aren't as many natural moves for him now. I would think maybe e6. Yeah, okay, that was expected. So I was thinking bishop c4 so that if he plays his bishop here, I can save mine. I mean, I guess the problem is he can... Yeah, if he does that, I guess I just have to... Yeah, but then his bishop is pretty strong when it's unopposed. So maybe it's better to just move the knight here and get this in. And say if you want to trade off your bishops, both of these bishops are bad. Yeah, I think I am going to do that. Another idea maybe I should be thinking about is to try to get some sort of an attack in. But, I don't know. I'm not really sure how much I can threaten. This feels very like a pretty quiet position. So I don't know if trying to be aggressive is really a good idea. It's probably as likely to backfire as it is to work, maybe even more likely. So bishop a6, I'm pretty sure I want to play bishop d4. What if something other than that? I guess I'm probably assuming that he wants to trade off that bishop, maybe a little bit more than I should. Maybe my light squared bishop is the worst of the two. After all, it is my pawns who are on the light squares, so his bishop at least has that function, maybe in an endgame. So if he does something else, like let's just say knight d7, it seems like a move that he would want to get in. Could I consider a f4? I'd been discussing just f3, which is not a very ambitious way to play, although it may very well be the correct way to play. I should take these arrows off. I don't think I'm actually considering that. So f4, we could try to grab some space. Maybe that too is too aggressive, though. Yeah, okay. I thought maybe this would come to pass. Bishop c4 is Bishop c4 I think is a good move, because then if he takes, I retake, and this is trapped. So that would prevent him from taking for a move, at least. And then I could take and isolate his pawn. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just play bishop c4. Yeah, so funnily enough, there was someone in the chat with a name pretty similar to my opponent's name. I'm worried that I was just tipping my hand. Okay, so the idea, if I take the pawn, is what? He wins the pawn back this way. But if I don't take the pawn, I'm just losing material. Yeah, do people do that? Is that like a common thing? I was wondering that the other day. Honestly, it was just kind of weird that someone this high rated would even play me. I don't normally get a lot of takers that are that much higher than me. It's even funnier that like if he is that much better than me, then why does he feel a need to try to get some advantage? Yeah, I was thinking now, does this just win something? Oh no, I mean he picks up my bishop. I wasn't paying attention. I think this is still pretty decent though. I think he has to take. I'll have to go back and look at that at the end of the game, Vash. Maybe bishop here. If he does that, I'm a little hesitant to even talk out anything, just in case he's got a pal in here. Yeah, that was kind of what I figured. So I've really got to move off that diagonal. He's got too many opportunities otherwise. And so do I want to go here or here? Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Um, I will go. I think I'll go here. Okay, I think I want to just get out of this pen. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. It worries me how kind of sharp and open this is getting, because that's definitely not my strength. This bishop is quite a pest. Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay, I think I'm going here. I was really debating between these two moves. But that seemed like the more forcing. I think this was accidentally a pretty good move. Um, Actually, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not such a good move. I think he is not afraid to play me if it gets to blitz or bullet, because he's higher rated than me at those also. Yeah, I thought that might be his reply. Trying to see if there's any benefit to either way. Okay, I think this is maybe ever so slightly better. And then, yeah, so it's got to be either here or here, of course. I'm going to go here to avoid the rook check. And now which way? Definitely rook, because I don't want to walk into a pin. Gotta be careful with the back rank, maybe a little bit. I guess I can just throw these moves in. This looks like a draw, but actually, maybe I've got some chances here. Maybe he has some chances too, but Yeah, I was looking at trying to win a7. What is, I guess he just wants to... he just wants to be able to move the pawn. Okay. I think I'm just going to do this. And if... Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty drawish. There's still plenty of ways for me to screw it up, I'm sure. Although I think I would consider a draw against a player over 200 points rated against me who was also listening to what I was planning to play. I consider that a good result. It's just a draw, no? think it's just a draw. I don't know. I don't know how to really use any advantage that I might have. I think I want to make him offer the draw. Hmm. Takes. He would just take with the rook. That wouldn't be a big deal. Okay. How's it going? Ray Chile? Just Ray Chile? Ray? Whatever you prefer. Okay, so he cuts my king. Is h5 worth anything? Probably not. Probably not. But maybe yes. h5 takes obviously looks good in terms of structure. And if he does nothing... I think I've got to try it. I'm going to be bold. This is my hope. I think it's still just a draw, but it feels like I'm the one with the chances now. Okay, so obviously have to take. Is there any benefit to rook d5? Maybe. But probably not. Okay, so king d4 looks like the most principled. Could also consider bishop d4, or I'm sorry, bishop c5, so that, yeah, he would play this pawn move, which he probably wants to play anyway. Bishop d4. I'm actually going to go here. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's still just a draw, but yeah, I mean, it's got to just be a draw. There's no zugzwang or anything, because he can always just move his bishop out along a diagonal. Yeah, there's no tricks. Is he really going to play 50 moves? Okay. Pretty good result considering he was cheating the first half of the game. I think he was. I'm almost positive. There was someone in the chat. Okay, maybe this was unfair. So I shouldn't jump to conclusions. How do I... How do I unban this guy? Alright, don't tell anyone, Neil. I don't have a home phone, so good luck. Close. Yeah, good game, the oeps. Don't watch the replay. I might have been a little harsh on thinking you were cheating. But maybe do watch the replay. It'll probably be entertaining. Okay. So a Grunfeld, which I don't know that well, but I knew this much and no further. Yeah, the Falcon shirt is intentional. Yeah, so I didn't know Bishop c4 is apparently the most played master move with knight f3 close behind. Okay, so I won't worry about. I think those were the two moves I was debating. Knight f3 being what I ultimately went with. Yeah, and I did remember that c5 was an idea. Yeah, I guess if I'm going to stream, I'm just going to have to accept the risk that someone might be listening to me. But it's not like I'm some chess genius that it's that big of a deal. Okay, and then bishop e2 or bishop e3 is somewhat played, but bishop e2 scores better in master games. Oh, yeah, okay. I played bishop e3 with the idea of trying to trade off these bishops, which never really happened. And now c5. Queen d2. So I was actually able to kind of pick my way through and find the theoretical moves for the most part. Queen a5 was a theory move. That was a bit of a testing move for me. I wasn't sure exactly the best way to handle that. And then yeah, rook b1, it's the second most popular move by a decent margin, rook c1 being the most common, but rook b1 actually scores much better for white over 81 games. So no, I really don't know the Grunfeld at all outside of exchanging and then pushing e4. Okay, so rook b1 seems like a fine move. Trade, and yeah, figured that I was okay after this queen trade. And yeah, Vash, she said after the fact that king d2 was the preferred move, and yeah, in 24 master games, king d2 played 23 times. So I doubt that I'm ever really going to remember 11 moves of theory, 12 moves of theory, but a good idea to remember anyway, to just kind of recognize like king safety not as big of a deal once the queens are off, and I'm just getting one step closer to connecting the rooks. The king's a little bit closer to the center, so yeah. Yeah, bishop takes has been played once. I liked knight takes because I was defending this pawn and maybe getting ready for f3. d5. So I'm okay. So I'm sorry. I should go back. Okay, I was the one who broke theory. All right. Yeah, rook d8 makes a lot of sense. d5. And then yeah, I figured b6 was coming. Just out of curiosity, Theo, were you ever thinking about just trying to trade off these bishops? I kind of assumed that was your idea for a while, and then after thinking about it more, I thought that maybe my bishop was a little worse than yours, and maybe it was better for you to just hang on to the bishops. Yeah, that was my idea with d5. Okay. Yeah, I was considering f4. Well, yeah, I mentioned f4, I should say. Yeah, that's a good point. Is he threatening f5 anyway? Computer wants bishop g5 here. But what did I play? Knight b3? I thought it was pretty important to just trade these bishops off. Yeah, good point. Yeah, at first I was thinking, what was I thinking? Yeah, I was thinking here, because I wanted to avoid the bishop trade, but then I wasn't so sure about that. So I changed my mind and went here and decided I would try to get these bishops off. Yeah, I thought e6 was a good move, but I liked bishop c4. That wasn't one that I saw right away, but I liked that way of stopping that temporarily. Wasn't so sure about that move. Yeah, I mean, the computer doesn't like it. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I guess I just wasn't sure what was gained. Because, I mean, I was thinking I wanted to move my king up anyway and connect my rooks. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think this was well, the computer doesn't like it. I thought that it was a good move. Bishop a6 here. Okay. Yeah. So bishop a6, I assume I just take. Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, yeah, I guess your knight being out here isn't so bad, because, well, I mean, I'm on the square now. Oh, you're winning a pawn, right? Or no. I have to take to avoid losing a pawn, and then I guess I play f3 here. It wants me to play a3. I would never, I would never consider a3, I don't think. Yeah, you're right about the tempo there. So I guess what was the flaw with this? I thought it was just good. Obviously, take. Okay. Ah, yeah. Okay, Vash pointed this out after. Okay, that's the point of a3. Okay. Yeah. Vash said after I moved that he liked the idea of rook to d1 as an intermezzo here. Yeah, that never crossed my mind, but it seems good to get the rook involved. And I guess I'm um, yeah. So rook hd1, and it just wants bishop d7, trade off the bishops, I guess. Yeah. Now it's saying bishop e5, bishop d7. I guess I'm a little surprised. Maybe I'm missing why this is so good. I mean, I guess it sort of saves my pawn chain, but maybe not permanently. I don't know. What is so good about this move? I mean, I guess developing the rook and meeting the threat is. Am I just winning the d pawn? Yeah, I guess maybe that's why it wanted you to, or it was thinking about. Oh no, it was thinking bishop e5, not bishop e6. I guess if bishop e6, I would just kick it. No, that doesn't work either. What is Oh, I guess you just get pinned here. Okay, no, it does like knight c5. I guess you're just falling further and further at this point. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Neil. Okay. Yeah, I'm convinced. Not that I was ever doubting the computer, I was just missing it. Oh, I didn't see that. The computer still thinks I'm a little better here. Still rook h to d1. Yeah, honestly, I overlooked that my bishop was even hanging here. I got really excited seeing this and just jumped on it. But yeah, I mean, it still seems fine. But it prefers knight c5. Yeah, that's one that I wouldn't have ever seen. Yeah, rook hd1 here makes some sense. So I guess I just wasn't able to find the critical moves here when I had my window of opportunity. And now it's basically equal again. Yeah, bishop a6 seemed like a pretty good move. Yeah, I debated for a while between d2 and e1. Oh, it doesn't even like d2. It prefers f3. But e1 it likes the most. So d2, knight to d7 as played. Yeah, just developing the knight. Rook c7, king e1. So it really thinks my king belongs on e1. It wants me to play that now. Really? You think king d2 is that bad? I guess it did get uncomfortable with my king somewhat exposed. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to remember what my reason for king d2 was. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going back to e1 after I already played d2. Yeah. And this is certainly not the kind of game, like, just having this open, I mean, not a whole lot of pieces left on the board, but still 2 rooks aside. It's not my strength at all. So it was, yeah. This bishop made me uncomfortable that I couldn't go hide my king. Maybe my thought was, no, I don't remember what I wanted to do with king d2. I guess maybe I thought just we're getting towards an endgame, maybe I want my king to be up. But pulling up makes some sense. And yeah, here again, honestly, I just looked up. I didn't, I don't know why I didn't even see this move. Yeah, and I probably should have seen. I mean, rook c6 doesn't win a piece because you get the check, but and then if here, or maybe here is fine. Yeah, I should have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I accidentally defended against it. Actually, yeah, when I was here, the only moves I ever really considered, I think I did get kind of tunnel vision here, was I was only ever looking at these moves. And luckily I picked the one that happened to be okay. I'm guessing this one's worse. Yeah. Yeah, because you can always take back here. Okay. So I looked up a bit. Takes. And then I thought for a while about which way to take, and it looks like the computer agrees rook takes is slightly better. Yeah. Now I found king e1 though, so I'm not going to miss king e1 twice. And then yeah, from here, I don't know. It seems like there's just no way that either side can really hope to do anything. I'm just going to put my pawns on dark squares. You're going to put yours on light squares, and we're going to have a draw. I think this is maybe just a case of like the computer thinks white is a little more active, and like I guess my pawns are going to get further up, but yeah, I don't see any danger for either side as long as both sides are careful. I'm interested to see what this little spike is, though. Looks like I did have a chance late. Yeah, I think I played this in-game pretty well. I mean, even though obviously there was a... Right. Yeah, and it seems like I'm never going to win the A pawn after he moves the bishop from A6, because that pawn can just sit on A6 forever, right? Yeah, I don't know if it was this position. I definitely thought about bishop H6 at times. I don't know. It just felt like that wasn't really as restrictive as maybe it looked, because can't you just like break out with something like this at some point? I don't know. So now it's saying rook c6. There's just pressure the pawn. Hmm. Rook c6, bishop e2, king c5, king f8, bishop h6 check, king g8. Yeah, that was kind of my feeling too, Vash. I was just surprised that like at this particular point there was a little spike in the, like a little tiny one, but a little tiny spike in the evaluation. So anyway, interesting thing will be to see what happened. Yeah, okay. I should have looked at that. Funny thing is, I looked at rook takes here when like it has absolutely no chance of working. Or I should say, I looked at it here. And then here, when there's actually a chance of it working, I didn't try it. So takes. This pawn, I assume, just runs straight to a7. Yeah, and I guess my king just eventually walks up. So, I mean, yeah, I guess this is just eventually a win for white. A takes a6. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that would be one that I probably would shy away from playing. I was definitely happy with the draw too. I don't draw against 2100s very often, so I was happy. Yeah, I'll play out the computer line a bit. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing. Is there anything black can do here? Right, yeah, there's just no weak points for black to go after. Yeah. So yeah, I should have evaluated that. I don't know. Like I said, as Neil said, I don't know if I would have had the. We'll say I don't know if I would have had the gumption to have taken. So yeah, and then here, one of those cases where it looked like maybe this pawn was threatening, but there's just nothing to do. Okay, so that was a really fun and interesting game. Thank you, Theo. Sorry for assuming the worst about your intentions, but hope you stick around and check out the stream some other time. Maybe we can play again. It was fun. I'm gonna call it a night. Um, so I hope everyone has a good evening.